Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. There was very urgent SMS I got before I came here. Why Lord Shiva and Parvati could not learn computer? And the reply, because Ganesh ji runs away with the mouse. When we want to study anything, we must be distinctly clear about the technical terminologies employed for the explanation of anything. If our understanding regarding the technical terminologies is not correct, then you get a SMS like this in your life. Because mouse means what? That depends on who you are. One day one person told me this. He said, Swamiji, why don't you get into some industry and do some great work? So what is that? For example, IT industry, produce some nice computers and sell. I said, I have already produced. The first computer was produced by me. And it was called as the Ganesh computers because the mouse is present there. Now this word mouse has got a totally different understanding when we use it in a different context. In the same manner, what we read is the Sanskrit language. But we are not studying Sanskrit language. We are studying the science of life. And when we want to study and get benefited from the various terminologies employed in Bhagavad Gita, and if we have that vanity and the notion that Swamiji, when I was in class 6, we had Sanskrit. Who told me? 180 not out Sindhi. You can imagine, Sanskrit is studied by Sindhi, what a big joke. And that too when he was in class 6. Now is that enough for me to study Bhagavad Gita? Look here. Sanskrit is only a language. And therefore, when we are able to read Sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum Tyagasya cha rishikesha pruthak keshinusudana. As a musical melody, it is wonderful. But does it make any sense to us? Words which do not carry meaning with them are called as noise. Isn't it? Suppose somebody comes and talks to you, let us say in Korean language, or somebody comes and talks to you in one of the Mongoloid languages. Now he may come and talk to you, but you will be there like a Sthita Prajna. Why? Because it is only noise. We won't understand a word. Now, if this is clear, Aham Brahmasmi. What is the meaning of Aham? I don't know. What is the meaning of Brahma? I don't know. What is the meaning of Asmi? I don't know. And what you are doing? Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. Kya gadbad laga diye hai? Because it carries no meaning. And therefore, it is extremely necessary then we have updated knowledge about the various terminologies used in any scientific book. Do not consider Bhagavad Gita as a book which has created a cult called as Hinduism. No. Nowhere in the whole Bhagavad Gita you come across this statement. This book is meant for the Hindus, by the Hindus, on Hindus. No. This is addressed to the human beings standing on two legs with a brain on the shoulders. It is meant for them. And therefore, this knowledge is available and applicable to everyone who is open to this knowledge. You know, we should be clear in our understanding in life. For example, many people have got these funny notions. One person came and told me, Swamiji, I never have taken a single allopathic tablet. I said, who cares? Neither the tablets nor we don't take. I don't believe in that. Do you take? I said, I don't believe in medicine. I believe in health. What is important is not medicine. What is important is your health. Are you healthy or not? That is more important. See, if our understanding is clear, you will never get confused in life. Just few days before I went to Cochin, and I met one NRI, our girl, and she had some problem with her another friend. She is also her very close friend, but she is a Christian. And she says, Swamiji, I love that friend so much. And she always tells me that I feel so pity for you, my dear friend, that you are not a Christian. And therefore, after death, you will go to hell. Then I really feel bad. You please become Christian. Swamiji, I don't know what I should do. I said, tell me one more logic what she gives. So she said, if Hinduism was good, why it is not spreading like Christianity? That was the logic. I said, hey, you tell her immediately. Have you heard health is spreading in the world? It is the disease which spreads. Health never spreads. Hinduism is the health. And all other isms are the diseases. Therefore they are spreading. Have you heard any time this statement? That health is spreading too much these days, you know. And the HIV is contained. No. Therefore, let us have clarity of vision. All what we are studying Bhagavad Gita is only for one purpose. And the purpose is discard all obsessions. Be totally open and discover that you are the source of total bliss in this world. See, in the morning class, we are having Brahmanande Vishayananda. And there, the topic is developed so beautifully. There is nothing to be afraid of to run away from this world. Yoga Shastra is afraid of thoughts. Therefore, what yoga tells, yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. Say, thoughts are coming, run away. Why? We will be under the influence of the thoughts. See, dharma is under the tyranny of the sin and the merit. See? How long are we going to live in this world under the influence of this fearful existence? Do you remember in the 17th chapter we have studied the first word in the 16th chapter, not 17th. There the teacher told, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi. Real life is that life where we lead a fearless existence. Constantly living under the fear is not life at all. And for that, Sattva Samshuddhihi, we have to have the qualification. Sattva Samshuddhi. There is no reservation. Please remember this. The whole world is destroyed under this disgusting philosophy of reservations for the fools. It will never help anybody. See, I have seen one Gujarati girl. I adore her like a goddess. She was young, in her 12th standard or so, and one day when she got up, her legs were paralyzed. And she didn't know. And she wanted to get up to go to the bathroom. From the bed, she cannot get up. Legs are not moving. And she cried and shouted, Mom, see what happened. 2 days she cried, frustrated. And then as if she tightened her belt, tied her shoelaces. And she said, now I am going to live with this. Don't give up in life. And now she moves throughout the world with a wheelchair. See? That is called as living life. And that can come up only when you discover the freedom in existence. We don't have to become the bonsais. You know, a bonsai plant is not allowed to grow. And the bonsai plant is a beautiful piece of decoration in your drawing room. Why become bonsai in life? Why not become a gigantic tree? Support millions of birds and thousands of pedestrians to take rest. If that is the goal of our life, the most important thing is Abhayam. We have to discover that fearlessness in us. And friend, it will not happen by accident. We have to work for that. And what is that working? First, Sattva Samshuddhihi. Unless we discover purity of purpose, sincerity of application, and alert life existence, not leading a mechanical life. No. Alertness, Sattva Samshuddhi. When this happens, then Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi. Then you study. Somehow or the other, this definition of religion has become such that when somebody is unfit for everything, he is fit for religion. This is how we are in this attire. In Allahabad, one family told me this, therefore I am telling you. They had a huge 6 and odd plus 4 and odd, an odd figure in their house. And doing nothing. So when taking food, he was standing there like that, doing nothing. So the mother was disgusted. Swamiji, you take this useless son of mine. I am tired of it. He is good for nothing. I think he will be good for your ashram. I said, I am also dispatched by my mom like this only. Please remember, spiritual life is not for those who are dropouts. First principle. Second thing, scientific life is not for those who seek reservations. By reservation you will get admission. By reservation you will not develop understanding. Please remember. I have come across one boy in one of the IITs. After my lecture was over, and when he came, Swamiji, I want to ask you something. So I don't know why I ask questions on what basis. There is no logic. So I said, before you ask me a question, I want to ask you a question. How have you entered IIT? You know, in the Aitareya Upanishad, the story of creation goes. The Lord has created the whole world and the body. And then the Lord started thinking, without me, what the body will do? Let me enter. And the Lord Simanan Vidarya, He opens up the cranium and enters by proper channel. And then the divinity starts manifesting. As it in this manner, how have you entered IIT? Which was the gate? Is it a Kota, Rajasthan? He said, yes, Swamiji, I got through the Kota. I said, that Kota is good to tie around you and jump into the water. Please remember, live with the self-respect and dignity. That is important. If somebody is having polio, don't show sympathy on him. Give him the crutches and the confidence to walk and live independently. That is called a scientific living. And for that, important thing is, we have to study hard. Normally what happens, when we see the Babajis firing the lectures, and then they are moving nicely in the cars and in the aeroplanes, and all sweet, sweet people around them and all that. One young boy, he was driving me in Delhi because his mother was there. He has to pick her and then we go to his house for dinner. So there were two more ladies, her friends, and they were also waiting for me. And when I reached there with her son, so, Swamiji, how lucky you are. I said, what happened? Three girls waiting for you. For me, nobody waits. See, friends, this external thing has something deep inside, and that is study of scriptures. What the study of scriptures will do? They will give you right definitions about all the words which we commonly use in our language. The most commonly used word, do you know which is the most commonly used word? I. I see, I. Most commonly used word. But do we know the meaning of this word I? So when we do not know the meaning of this word I, and we keep on using it, is it not the height of foolishness that can be scaled in this human form? And therefore we have to know what the world is. When we say, the world is too much for me, what do you mean by the world? Wife? If you are married, your world is wife or husband, as the case may be. If you are parents, your world is your children. If you are married, your world may be either the husband or the in-laws or the outlaws. This is all. What do we mean by the word world? Do we have clear understanding? Then we go to the satsang professionally. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The world is an illusion. So what do we mean by this statement that the world is an illusion? See? And then the God has created this world. Who is this God? Where is He? Unless these three principles are distinctly clear in our understanding. Who is this I, the subject? What is the meaning of the word world? And what is the meaning of the word God? And for that, the study is the only way out. Nanya pantha vidyate janaya. Therefore, after having studied or heard from Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Arjuna has heard these two words. One is sannyas and second is tyaga. And therefore, Arjuna begins this 18th chapter with his enquiry. Arjuna Uvacha, he begins, Sannyasasya mahabaho tattvam ichchami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha prutak keshina shudana. O Lord, Keshi was one of the demons who was killed by the Lord, therefore it's called Keshi Nishudana. So, O Lord, kindly tell, what is the meaning of these two words which we hear every now and then? Sannyasa and Tyaga, two words. We have heard this word sannyasi. Sannyasi means what? A tailor wears sannyasi? Or what do we mean by the word sannyasi? Or the sannyas? So, sannyasasya tattvam ichcha veditum ichchami. I want to know what is the essence of the sannyas. Because we may use the word, but have we understood the word? So, sannyasasya tattvam, and secondly, tyagasya cha tattvam veditum ichchami. And also we have heard this word tyaga. So kindly tell me the correct import of these two words. Then only we will be able to go deeper into the understanding of the scriptures. Now if the word meaning is not understood, our condition will be like a small girl, 5 years old, extremely attached to her father. Extremely attached. And she goes for a marriage. And there she sees the glitter. And all the people giving so much importance to that bride and the broom. Not broom, groom. I think it was a right, slip of tongue. Isn't it? So, and this girl sees, hey, this bride is getting so much importance in marriage. This happens, yes. I also want to get married. I want to get married. With whom will you marry? I will marry with my daddy. Now tell me, if this girl really understands the meaning of the word marriage, will she ever make a statement that I want to get married to my father? See, words we know, but do we know the meaning of the words? Similarly, when we say the word sannyasa and when we say the word tyaga, what do we mean? See, Sanskrit language is such a unique language where you can go on dissecting the word and bring out depth in your understanding. See, nyasa, if you are studying, let us say, the science of devotion, then nyaso nama bhagavati samarpanam. Nyas means surrender to the Lord. So what will be the meaning of sannyasa? Sam means samyaka, complete, total. So when there is 100% surrender to the Lord, means what? When the I, the ego is completely dissolved. And from the same station, now the divinity starts manifesting in its full glory. That is called as sannyas. See, one meaning. Sannyasasya tattvam veditum ichchami, according to devotion. According to the path of knowledge, nyasa means placement. Like you must have seen, इस पुल का शिलान्यास अमुक अमुक मिनिस्टर के चरण कमलों के द्वारा हुआ. क्यों? हस्तकमल कहाँ गए थे? हस्तकमल बिजी थे काम करने में, इसलिए चरण कमल से हो गए. So when we say the Shilanyasa means what? The stone is placed in the right place. So sannyasa means your right identity. Where do you place yourself? In the world, in the limitations, in the God, or the substratum of everything. Correct understanding about our own identity is called as sannyasa. Oh, see? Bhagavan Shankaracharya, in his one of the most wonderful book called as Sadachara, there he defines sannyas, where he says, Dehannyaso hi sannyasaha naiva kashaya vasasa. Dehatma bhava, living as a body, is discarded, and living through the body is naturally practiced. That is called as sannyas. What are we doing? We are living as the body, by the body, on everybody. Therefore, sannyasa, this word we have heard so many times. Sir, will you please explain? Because I want to know the essence. What is the meaning of this word sannyasa? So, sannyasasya shabdasya artham veditum ichchami. I want to know the correct import. Therefore, tattvam. Tattva means the essence. I want to know the essence of this technical term, sannyas. You know why these words are mistaken? Because whenever any word is used elaborately, extremely, that word gets corrupted. For example, politics. Now the word politics is used to mean something bad, is it not? I went to that organization. Oh, Ram, such a terrible politics. Second thing, the only thing I want, that the cricket board should not play politics. And how you have come in that chair? Through politics. See? Therefore, this word politics, which is a political science, has been used so much to mean only bad things. Similarly, once I was going by train long time back, and one newspaper, Hindi newspaper, my next passenger, he was ready, and he folded it and showed it to me. Babaji, read. So I read that, and I kept. Thank you. He said, what you have read? I said, I have read whatever is written there. Do you want to test my knowledge of Hindi or what? He said, no. It is written here, one sannyasi has taken away somebody's wife. I said, this is what you have read. But what you have understood, that is more important. Then I told him, do you remember that Ravana came to take away Sita Maya in the disguise of a sannyasi? So will you say that a sannyasi has taken somebody's wife? No. Somebody in the disguise of sannyasa has taken somebody's wife. I said, this is what I have understood. Now what you have understood is your choice. We are a democratic setup. You decide. Therefore, when we use the word sannyas, oh Lord, I want to know the correct import of this word, sannyasasya shabdasya tattvam veditum ichchami. See how many options are there. And if we are not able to understand where what meaning is to be applied, we will be totally confused about every statement in our scriptures. Like today in our Panchadashi class, I was talking, and there the whole theme is developed in such a manner that don't be afraid and run away from the world if you want to discover the truth. And there, like our Kenopanishad tells, Pratibodha Viditam Matam, in every experience you can discover divinity. In the same manner, Brahmanande Bhogananda or Vishayananda, there the theme is brought out that when an ordinary person eats a Rasgulla, he imagines the sweetness and the joy is coming from that object, miserable object called as Rasgulla. But when a wise man eats the same Rasgulla, he knows that the joy is coming from his own self. This understanding will convert your bhoga pravrutti into the yoga anubhuti. This is the theme. Therefore, don't run away from the world. When my lecture was over, there was one person, Swamiji, in Bhagavad Gita, it is said in the 13th chapter, when Bhagavan was telling that if you want to know the truth, you have to have certain qualities called as jnana sadhana. And there it was said, indriyartheshu vairagyam anhankaram. And you are telling that don't run away from the bhoga, from the vishayas. What we should do? I said, now go home and take a cup of tea and sleep till tomorrow morning. Now see, there is a seeming contradiction. One way we are told, discover in every bhoga, in every objective indulgence, the divine experience. One way it is said this way. In other place it is said, indriyartheshu vairagyam. Let there be total dispassion for all the worldly objects. What should we do? Tad vijnanartham gurumeva vigachet samit pranihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. To understand all these contradictions, we have to go to a Babaji. See? One person came and asked me this question. Swamiji, everything is available in the books. What is the need to have a guru? So I kept quiet. And other things were going on. And he felt very uneasy. Swamiji, probably you have not heard my question. When everything is available in the books, why should we have a living guru? So I looked at him and again I changed the topic. Deliberately, I am expert in that. As you are expert in pretending that you are listening. So, we are experts in our own field, isn't it? So, then third time he got wild. He said, Swamiji, you are insulting me. I said, this is what I wanted to do. Now it has happened. Now I'll explain. Now if your books and cassettes and CDs, if they will solve your problem, why are you asking to a living me? When you are asking this question to a living person, that means a living guru is necessary. Then what we should do? I said, go for shopping. Guru shopping. And find out what is the rate, take quotations, and then apply. Therefore, when we talk, the guru, the sannyas, the tyaga, the vairagya, the study of the scriptures, yoga, what these words mean. So sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum. Every time Bhagavan Sri Krishna has addressed Arjuna, hey Mahabaho, to inspire him. You know, one of the most essential things of a teacher is to initiate a sense of confidence in the student. Otherwise, if you go all the time telling the student, "Are dumb," he will really become dumb. Because that Mahatma has got that Sankalpa Shakti. Hey Mahabaho. So when Arjuna must have heard this word 2, 3, 4, 10 times, he thought, let me also apply the same thing to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum. Now see this word Mahabaho. Mahabaho doesn't mean chimpanzee. The one whose hands are going below the knee. Ajanubahu is a technical term. Janu means where our brains are. So when our hands go below that, now that is not the meaning. Mahabaho means the very presence of the Lord on the side of Pandavas was enough to inculcate confidence in them. And the very presence of Bhagavan Sri Krishna on the side of the Pandavas was enough to create a terror in the Kaurava ranks. So standing in one place, he was governing both the sides, and therefore is called as Mahabaho. So sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha. Now here Rishikesha, see Rishikesha, see one thing I told you, by God's grace you must have forgotten. Take this as a project. If you want to really study and enjoy the study of Bhagavad Gita, see, Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu. We must enjoy the study. Then only you can go deeper and deeper. Otherwise, पता नहीं ये संस्कृत में क्यों बोले भगवान? हिंदी नहीं आती थी क्या? उस समय बिहार नहीं था, इसीलिए लिया था. Otherwise, the whole Bhagavad Gita would have been terrible. So, take this project. In whatever context, Bhagavan Krishna has used a address to Arjuna. Sometime he is called Hey Parantapa, sometime Hey Mahabaho, sometime Hey Kaunteya, sometime Hey Partha. Various words used. Similarly, Arjuna has addressed Bhagavan Sri Krishna in different ways. Sometimes he says Krishna, that sometimes he says Madhusudana, sometimes he says Arisudana. Here he said Keshi Nishudana. So what are these all names? Is it only to make the meter complete? Because Bhagavan Veda Vyasa with great difficulty he was writing? Or there is some depth in that? Go into deeper and deeper and deeper. Come out with a nice thesis and get a PhD. And then become doctorate in PhD, doctorate in Bhagavad Gita, and become miserable throughout life. So, Tyagasya cha Rishikesha. Now, Rishikesha, this is another address to Lord. So, Tyagasya, O Lord, what is the essence, what is the import of the word Tyaga? Kindly tell me Pruthak. Don't tell me in a confused manner. You are expert in creating confusion. Because many times when we read Bhagavad Gita, we come across this funny thing. One place Bhagavan says that Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. And by the time you get ready for your dharam yuddha, dharma dhvajitvam, by the time you are ready, And Bhagwan says, Sarva Dharman Maro Goli Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. So you get tired. I don't know whether we should follow the Dharam or we should follow the Dharminder. You don't know what to do. Therefore, O Lord, kindly tell me clearly, distinctly, Pruthak. See, in earlier chapter also, Arjuna says the same thing. Eka vadanishchityam jena shreyo hamapnuyam. Don't tell me that, the karma yoga is extremely necessary, but the best in life is the knowledge. And therefore, tasmad yoga matishto tishta bharata. Therefore, you should practice karma yoga. It is something like our cigarette advertisements. Cigarette smoking is dangerous to health. Therefore, smoke Charbina. Can there be a better joke than this? In the same manner, Lord, you have created sufficient confusion. Now I am in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. At least at this stage, don't create confusion. Therefore, Tyagasya cha Rishikesha Pruthak. Kindly tell me distinctly and clearly. In reply to this, Bhagavan Sri Krishna begins, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu, sarva karma phalatyagam prahustyagam vichakshanaha. Now here, like a most scientific approach to any problem, you must have done or you must have studied or yourself practice. How these scientific thoughts are presented in a scientific format? First, there is an introduction. Why you have taken this particular project? Suppose I take a project. Analysis of the different parameters of the potable water harvested from the mirages of Rajasthan and Assam. Because there is always a shortage of water in our country. So I thought, why not harvest and evaluate the quality of the mirage waters so that we can solve the problem. So when you present this project to World Bank, I guarantee you will get money. See? So whenever you present some project, you have to give introduction wherein you have to justify why you are doing this. Then the second thing is, are you the first one to do this? Or earlier people also tried this? Then we give the review of literature. Who has worked in this field and what are their findings? Then the third is, what is the material and method that you are going to use? Then the fourth thing, what are your observations and the statistical analytical tools you apply? And then what are your results? And then at the end, bibliography. See? Exactly the same principle you will see throughout Bhagavad Gita. Now here, when Arjuna has asked this question, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Kavayo viduhu vichakshanaha tyagam prahuhu. So he says, first of all, I will quote the review of literature. See how scientific it is. And then he will come to his conclusion. According to me, this is what is the meaning of tyaga, this is what is the meaning of sannyas. Therefore, let us not have that notion in our mind that scientifically presented things alone are right. No. Our Bhagavad Gita has given authenticity and validity to the science of presentation. This is another beautiful way. If you really want to know how to present your thoughts, how you make a point, What are the kinds of examples that become more appealing and more apt? All these things are put together is Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And therefore it is the most scientifically presented thought ever available in this world. That is why the maximum number of commentaries you get only on Bhagavad Gita. If you go to Banaras Hindu University, BHU, there, go there every year once, you will come across a minimum, I think about 1100 commentaries, I was told when I was moving in the library, only on Bhagavad Gita. Printing Bhagavad Gita and distributing free is not a commentary. Please understand. Our Gita Press has done this job for last so many years. Now this particular edition which I have in my hand, it is 325,000 copies so far sold. That is not a commentary, it is a distribution. Commentary is how much we are interacting to the divine thought presented in Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, here Bhagavan Sri Krishna brings out first approach. What is the review of literature? And therefore, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Now the second import of this Sri Bhagavan Vacha, this I mentioned to you earlier. Again I repeat, we are concluding. Sri Bhagavan Vacha means, don't take the routine translations. If you take our Srimad Bhagavad Gita's translation in Hindi by our most wonderful press, Gita Press, Bhagwan bole, Arjun bola. अरे ये बोला बोली थोड़ी है. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, these are the words of the Lord. And who is the Lord? The one who is not conditioned by time, space, object, situation or anything. And therefore, his words are eternal. They never become stale. For us, the midday paper becomes old in the evening, is it not? Because we want the latest, and this Bhagavad Gita outdated more than 5,000 years before. How can we apply this? Only because of this. These words are no more the words of a mortal, which are written to get in return some remuneration for writing an article in the newspaper. No. Therefore, friends, if you simply chant Bhagavad Gita, I am telling you scientifically, not out of emotionalism. I don't believe in emotionalism. If you sit quiet with all purity of intention, like when you start any of your scientific experiment, the first requirement is you are unbiased. A biased person cannot conduct a scientific experiment. A biased person writes a thesis. That's a different issue. So, with all purity of intention and no biasness, sit quiet before the Lord and simply chant Bhagavad Gita with all sincerity and purity. I guarantee you, every word, when you chant, the Lord will start dancing on your tongue. Because these words are uttered by the Lord Himself. Give it a try. Don't discard it out of ignorance. One day one person asked me this question, Swamiji, do you believe in the Jyotisha Shastra? I said, why you collect my belief? He said, no, I want to know. If you believe, then I will have to think twice because I don't believe. I said, look here, Jyotisha Shastra is one of the 6 limbs of Vedas. They are called Shadanga, 6 limbs. In that, Jyotisha also comes. Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda, Shiksha, Kalpa, Jyotisha. So there, this Jyotisha is the science. Now, if you do not know that science, on what ground you discard it? You have authority to discard if you know something. When you discard something out of ignorance, it is not the right way or scientific approach. Therefore, all the great masters who have made a difference in this world, when their experience tells that with all sincerity, you take this wonderful scientific treatise on how to lead life scientifically, peacefully, cheerfully, happily. You give it a try. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Now the Lord starts talking to you in your own heart. When we tell in the ochre rope, it is not acceptable. But when it is said, listen to your inner voice. Inner voice. Yeah, what is that inner voice? When you take excessive food and then there is a biological onkar. Oh. That is called as inner voice. Oh, that is. I was all the time thinking, what is that inner voice? Inner voice. So give it a try. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Now what Bhagavan says? Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. Kavayaha. Kavi is singular. Kavayaha is plural. That means this is the view of many wise people. Again, the word Kavi is a technical term. Kavi is not a poet. Who is a poet? I was going, first line, second line, 2 dots, going, third line, 3 dot, dot, going. And the last line, only question mark. Where? I don't know. And you get the first prize, modern poetry. Isn't it? That is not the meaning of Kavi. Kavi means the one who has the vision which transcends the limitations of the past and the future. Whose knowledge is not a knowledge born out of logic and reason. Rutambara Pradnya, Yoga Shastra tells. When our knowledge is not as a result of analysis and deduction, but our knowledge is intuitive knowledge. That intuitive knowledge, he who has and he who is functioning under the shelter or the umbrella of this intuitive knowledge, they are called as Kavi. Kavayaha viduhu. So such wise people said, what they said? Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. There are many types of activities in which we are engaged. One of the activities is called as those activities which are having no sanctions from our scriptural authority. Do you remember in the last chapter, 16th chapter, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has emphasized one thing very adamantly. What he said, that tasmat shastram pramanam te karya karyavavasthito. What is to be done and what is not to be done. Who is the authority? Authority is the scriptures and none else. See? And what are the scriptures? Scriptures are those words which are inspired experiences of the great masters, which are not directed towards one particular person out of biasness, but which are meant for the welfare and the benefit of everyone. They are called as scriptures. Therefore, if we really want to benefit from our own life, what is the manual which will refer to utilize the machine that the human form is given to us? And for that, the manual is our scriptures. So what is to be done, what is not to be done? So in that classification, the first thing is something called a Nishiddha Karma. This cannot be accepted under any condition. So we don't talk about that. Now there is a second category of karma or the pursuit. Karma means pursuit. What we are pursuing in life. And those are fulfillment of our desires. There is nothing wrong in fulfilling the desires. Everybody cannot become Babaji, and please don't become. Our market will be down. Fulfill your desires. And therefore, Artha, Dharma, Kama. These three Purusharthas are told in our scriptures. So when we have to fulfill our desires, do sincerely, work hard, but in the framework of the scriptural injunctions, do's and don'ts. And then there is a third category of pursuit. Yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. The purpose of our functioning in this world is not to get anything from the outer world, but for the purification of our heart so that we grow spiritually. Friends, in the human form, whatever maximum perfection can be achieved at the morphological level is already achieved in the human form. Hereafter, the higher perfection can be only the spiritual perfection. No other perfection. So, this is where Bhagwan Sri Krishna comes and tells that Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam. How long are we going to live in this world? Only for the fulfillment of our desires? Can't we think of any other alternative? Here many people get the shock of their life. It is because of this philosophy that our country is not progressing. Because you say they should not have desires. Without desire, how can anybody function? Now you put all your desires put together and all your total progress. And see one single Mahatma who functioned in this world without a single desire as a propelling force. And see the output. Real productivity is not the result of the bondage and compulsion of desire. Real productivity is the manifestation of inspired existence. Therefore, Bhagwan says, some wise people tell, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. Learn to live in this world, not only to fulfill your desires. There is some higher life also. See how beautiful it is. This is called as sannyas. Otherwise, for everything, what will I get? What will I get? Are we baniya or what? What will I get? Can't we think of living for something higher in our life? Therefore, kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. So, the wise people say, sannyasa is that where you function in this world without the compelling rod of desires in your heart. That is called as sannyas. Meaning what? Sannyasa is renunciation of desire-prompted activities. Now see. There are two types of people we all see in this world. Some are functioning to get the wages. Say they go to the office from time to time. If you go in our Calcutta is the best place. Because I am from Bengal, I like Calcutta the most. For every Bengali, where from you are? Calcutta. There is no other thing in Bengal except Calcutta. And there the best thing is office timing 10 to 5, home to home. So 10 o'clock they leave home and depending upon the traffic and the distance they reach 12 o'clock to the office. Why should we reach the office in our personal time? See? And they have to go home. Why should they use their time to reach home? It is official duty. Very intelligent, you know. And such people all the time trying to see how much I don't work. Because they are labors. What do I get? What do I get? And then, if I get overtime, then I'll work. Such disgusting existence. Do you call it the existence of a dignified person? No. Therefore, what is compelling us to function in this world? The second type of people are those. They are living and doing everything for the manifestation of the joy. Bhagavan Krishna told us in the 3rd chapter, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. Arjun, I don't want anything from any one of you. Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Yet I function for the joy of it. See, Mirabai is to sing without a harmonium. Meri. See, Mirabai was singing for the Lord, not for the audience. Friends, Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. The real meaning of sannyasa is not what do I get if I do this. See, it is so simple. One day one child asked me this question. Swamiji, you tell us God is in our heart and we are also in our heart. So are we 2 in 1? I said, yes, we are 2 in 1. Now, how do we know which channel is on? Whether it is a God channel which is functioning or whether it is the we channel which is functioning. How do we know? I said, let us do an experiment. Suppose you have got a sister. He says, why? Suppose I have a sister. I say, okay, your sister. And I give you one chocolate. And I got only one chocolate. And that chocolate your sister likes like mad. And you know that. And you love your sister. Will you eat that chocolate? No. What will do? I will take it and give it to her. What will you get by that? Swamiji, do you have a sister? I said, no. Then you won't understand. How true? Then he said, Swamiji, when I will give it to my sister and she will eat and enjoy, that will make me happy. Be very attentive. When your expressions are the expressions of happiness in giving, not what do I get, what do I get, what do I get. So when our happiness is in receiving, we are miserable. And when our happiness is in distribution, then the divine is functioning through us. This is the meaning of sannyas. See? Therefore, kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. Please remember in our Bhagavad Mahapuran, Naradji tells Bhakti Mata, what is the reason that in this Kali Yuga the things have become so terrible? So there Naradji tells, in this Kali Yuga what has happened? Everything has lost its essence. Rasa of everything is gone. And he starts with the first thing. Naradji tells very clearly, in the Bhagavad Mahapuran, Mahatmya, this thing comes. That the essence of the satsanga has gone. Because satsanga is conducted for earning money. See, Brahma Vidya is received from Narayana Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. That knowledge which we have received from the Lord, is it for sale? See? Therefore, Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam. Then only we have really understood the meaning of sannyas. As I told you, otherwise we are tailor-made sannyasi. Mahatma ji, will you please come to our house for food? I will come. my charges of visit are breakfast 2,500, lunch 5,000, dinner 10,000. And if you are calling 10 people more, so multiply by 10. Only that much. Ram, 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 Ram. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam. Let us learn this basic principle of life. When we learn and experience the joy of functioning under inspired existence, then alone we have touched somewhere the meaning of sannyas. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. Now, so the desires are no more the prompting factors in your life. Like the mother, when for the first time she is carrying the baby in her womb, the mother-in-law, her own mother, goes on telling 101 instruction to that young mother, isn't it? Don't do this thing, don't do that thing, don't lift too many heavy things, don't eat mirch masala, and don't see those horror movies. Read some Bhagavat, go to satsang, and remain cheerful and happy. Everything is told. Is any mother told by her mother, see, when your baby is born, you have to love her? No. Love is never instructed. Love is never taught. Because that is our nature. And therefore, when a mother takes care of the child, that is real sannyas. That time the mother doesn't think that, I am cleaning the drapers of this dirty child. I don't know whether the child will remember or not. Forget about it. So, what is the promptings behind our karma? Is it inspiration born out of love, or it is a compulsion born out of desire to earn, like an ayah also looks after the baby, but her attention is on how much salary I get. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduhu. This is the real meaning of sannyas. Like Bhagavan Shankara says, naiva kashaya vasasa. So, this is one. Now the second thing. What is the meaning of tyaga? Tyaga is said, sarva karma phalat tyagam, rahus tyagam vichakshanaha. Tyaga means what? To understand this, let us understand the principle of karma. When we are doing anything in this world, we are involved in three levels. First level, before we do something. Second level, after we do something. Third level, during we are doing. Three things. So before doing the action, during the action, and after the action is over. So before doing the action, the promptings of desires are discarded. You have understood the meaning of sannyas. Second, when you are done with your karma, are you all the time calculating, now I will get this thing or that thing? No. Sarva karma phalatyagam. When we learn to function in the present without getting diverted in the future, the result is, be very attentive. The result is, you will enjoy every moment of your existence. Be very, very attentive. Your karma is not born out of the compulsion of desire. First, sannyasa. Second thing, you are not unnecessarily worried about the future. Karma phala. Tyaga. You are rejected that. Now where are you? You are now in the absolute present. The more we remain in the absolute present and function, you experience the real bliss. Nay, living in the present completely and totally, and their functioning is the manifestation of the bliss. Therefore, what is the meaning of tyaga? Take away your attention from the future and focus your attention in the present. So, first sannyasa is renunciation of doership, the desire promptings, and tyaga is renunciation of our worries and attachment to the result of the karma. What is the net result? Net result is you are by yourself. And such a person, be very attentive, is always cheerful and happy. Do you know why? We can be absolutely happy only in the absolute present. Point number one. We have no choice to be in the present or not to be in the present. By compulsion, we have to be in the present. Third thing, we cannot bring or leave the past. Fourth thing, we cannot go in the future. Why not do that is simply possible? And what is simply possible? Be where you are completely. That is called a yoga. That is called as jnanam. That is called as a devotion. Remaining in the absolute is complete by itself. To bring this, what is required is give up your hold on the past and the future. In short, sannyasa and tyaga both have the same principle. What is the principle? Give up. First, the desire promptings, and second, the attachment and expectation about your performance. Then what for to live? For the joy of it. Then we have really understood the meaning of sannyasa and the karma and the tyaga. This is the opinion of some wise people. Kavayo viduhu and vichakshanaha prahuhu. Vichakshana means those who are wise people. Now, there is another reference Bhagavan Sri Krishna quotes. Tyajyam doshavadityeke karma prahur manishinaha yajnadana tapak karma na tyajyam iti chapare. So here another view is taken. What is the meaning of tyaga? Whether through renunciation, sannyasa, or tyaga through the giving up, like the tyaga, giving up everything. About this, there are 2-3 more views. What are those views? We will take in our tomorrow's class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.